Hello, I'm Michael James Slattery, and I'm a photography artist. But that don't matter, and that's not why you're watching this. You're watching this because I'm going to describe to you one of the reasons why blockchain, or rather cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, is so significant. And it has nothing to do with what I think you know. Right? So we're going to do a little thing here. I'm going to put this down right now. I'm going to get some stuff together. My plan is to show you what I believe is called a virtual deposit contract. Virtual deposit contract, a lot of people like to call an hourglass contract. Essentially what it is, it's a fucking Ponzi scheme, right? But it works. And how does it work? Well, it works on behalf of what I like to call the pit. Are you willing to get in the pit? And the PIT is an acronym, obviously, for participation in immutable transparency. And what we're going to do here is describe the Ponzi scheme while hopefully you have your head wrapping around what I was just saying about participation in immutable transparency. Now what we're going to use here to count digits are screws. Why? Because you get screwed in life, okay? Let me get this so you can see what I'm doing here a little bit better. Alright, so we all know essentially what a Ponzi scheme is, right? Ponzi scheme is where somebody is telling you, if you're from San Diego, you know what a Ponzi scheme is probably, because Gina Kane here locally was a woman who acquired, this is going to help make relevance, Gina Kane was a woman here locally who ran a large restaurant chain. She coerced just 50 people, one including California Trust and Savings Bank, who gave her $35 million for her Ponzi scheme. A bank gave an individual who runs a corporation $35 million for a Ponzi scheme. What was her Ponzi scheme? Her Ponzi scheme was, because she was so involved in the restaurant industry, she led investors to believe she was under the control of a potential ton of liquor licenses. You know, granted, the city and state give them away for tens of thousands of dollars, but they sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars on the market. And because she was such an insider, she was promising investors 12% a year. So many people decided, including California Trust and Savings, to get involved with her Ponzi scheme. They gave her, 50 different individuals gave her $300 million, just $100 million in the last year. And the SEC now has indicted her for running a Ponzi scheme, okay? So you guys know what a Ponzi scheme is, and if you've been in crypto at all, you know the IPO space was fucking full of that. And that's why a lot of the prices went down, because they were so overinflated in value. These people that ran these were just promisers from fucking, Series 7 to car salesmen promising people that rode a wave. I surf. People ride waves that, they create out of, thin air. We all saw The Wizard of Oz. So anyways, there's this crypto space that I got involved with because I got so screwed at the end of 2017 that is full of degenerates. And but one thing that prevailed there was the idea that they understood what cryptocurrency and the blockchain was. And essentially the blockchain is a ledger. You need to understand that. It's a ledger that is immutable. So if you do accounting or balancing a checkbook, if you balance your checkbook, please continue watching. If you don't know how to balance a checkbook and you don't understand what I'm talking about when it comes to balancing a checkbook, please turn this off and go away. So that ledger that does your accounting, the blockchain makes it so that it can never be changed, which means immutable, or taken away or made erased, so meaning it's immutable. The blockchain is an immutable ledger that's totally transparent. That's totally transparent, that anybody can go see. Just imagine what the world would be like. Now, that being said, just imagine what the world would be like. Just like, for instance, right now, we have, if anybody's paying attention, the repo, overnight, oversubscribed. We don't know who the fucking money's going to in the Fed. We don't know who the Fed is giving billions of dollars a day, tens of billions of dollars a day away to banks. Who? Who are the banks? We don't know. Would the world be any different if the ledger of every single transaction they conducted was transparent and immutable? How would the world change? This channel here, for what it's worth, I devote my channel, and I do devote it to the idea of crypto, that I'm going to go to the moon and I'm not going to have to work so fucking hard for a living. But I do believe ultimately the blockchain and cryptocurrency is about regulating the regulators, about taking the business out of banking, law, and finance. I mean, banking, law, and politics. Banking, law, and politics need to be utilitarian functions of society. They currently are way too business-oriented. And this is the reason we have what sociologists call the biggest problem that sociologists will talk about forever and ever, is the disproportionate distribution of wealth and income is the number one fucking problem we have in the world. The leading cause of pretty much so many fucking things, all the way down to mental illness. So these problems, wars, these problems that we have could easily be changed if we could just, socialism, fascism, communism, they all have the same fucking problem. Business in banking, law, and politics. And if we could get that organized under a situation where ultimately teachers make more money than anybody, or bankers and lawyers would stop working so hard to be that, and they'd want to be firefighters and policemen, because everything, the policemen and the firefighters and anybody in politics, anybody in banking, anybody in law, all those people and all those things they ever did were fucking transparent, dude. Every single person in Congress, Senate, and the House, and the executive, and the judicial. I don't know about the judicial so much, but I fucking tell you, the legislative and the fucking executive branch, if we knew everything they did and it was transparent and immutable. And this is the world we all need to live in when it comes to the transfer of value. Hence the reason, we're talking about what my intent is. Okay, that's my intent. Okay, now we're talking about how the real world really works. It's all a fucking Ponzi, okay? Everything's a fucking Ponzi. This right here is the biggest Ponzi humankind has ever fucking created, okay? We know this for a fact. Okay, so we're all fucking on the same page. If we're not, get the fuck out of here. So you know what a Ponzi is. I described it with Gina Kane and her 300 million. You know where Ponzi is a name of somebody, and that Ponzi came from what he did with the stamps and how he promised, because of the tax, and how he promised people all this money. And ultimately when he came, he didn't have that money. Well, there was this guy, Dr. Honig Heiken. I can't spell his name. Ask me. I'll look it up. If anybody gives a fuck, I'll look it up. Dr. Honig Heiken, he created an algorithm or a math equation, essentially, that described a legitimate Ponzi scheme where people could earn a lot and work based on the participation. Look. My best way of analyzing this is, look, we've got a banking institution in the world, in the United States alone right now, that's 20% of the GDP. 20% of the GDP. 1/5 of all the fucking money that's created in a gross domestic product goes through the banking institutions. What do? They press buttons. They let you move money between these fucking things that they say cost a fortune, and then they create some kind of, then they make laws so they can continue to fucking create an open market window where they can get $82 billion last week a day because they don't have enough money to lend each other? Oh man, that's really hard for me to smile and think of that in a way that's funny. But yeah, these people, they get away with these Ponzi's. And so Dr. Honig Heiken created a Ponzi that I'm about to describe to you, and I want you to fucking think about in your consideration of what crypto is. Even though the news has made it out to what it is, the idea that it's decentralized. One thing I want to get through my fucking thick head always is let it be known that decentralized and centralized are fucking stupid terms. The earth is a central place. To think that there's such a thing that's decentralized, and if it's decentralized, it's good, is nothing is decentralized if there's enough participation in it. And let's go back to immutability and transparency on the blockchain. It only matters when there's participation in it. And that's why I call this place the pit. This is participation based in immutable transparency. Dr. Honig Heiken came up with this. And there's a whole story with these P3D guys and all these clones and all these things. But I'm going to reference Gandhiji. Why? Gandhiji is a virtual deposit contract or hourglass contract that is the only one that has proven itself over time to create a situation where whales can't come in and scam. Well, they can, and maybe you're going to be one of them that does that. Please be that. After I describe this, you'll understand why I want whales in here. But ultimately, that disproportionate distribution, that 20% of the nation's GDP, what if all that money that's created by the use of money was distributed equitably between all the people that are creating value for each other? Imagine that. Imagine that. That was completely transparent and immutable and had nothing to do with banking law or politics. None of these motherfuckers could touch it because it's on an immutable blockchain. Dude, this idea is insane and it's working. Get your devs, check the code. Austria's writing their fucking, this is an ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain. This Gandhiji I'm about to describe, there's all kinds of other ones on Tron and shit too, but none of them have the transparency and the immutability of this. Austria's writing bonds on the Ethereum blockchain for a reason. So hopefully you've digested at least 70% of what I'm saying, and maybe you'll get 50% about what I'm describing right now. The ultimate real Ponzi scheme that can't scam out on you. It can, but it doesn't really, because you'll see everything that happens while it happens. Okay, so let's start here. Again, the screws represent the units, dollars, gold, ounces, fucking won, yen, Ethereum, whatever. They really, what they are is an ERC20 token. It's a separate token, a transfer of value that's written on the Ethereum blockchain. All right, the second most valuable blockchain out there. Vitalik's a genius. And the top list, all those guys. That Vase song, just pay attention to what, listen to all, follow none. Don't try to fucking be persuaded into anything. So, okay, this is the Gandhiji contract, and I'm going to describe Gandhiji. Why? Because Gandhi, if you think about it, 5,000 years of evolution, if anybody created a situation where humans could live amongst each other in a cohesive manner without fucking getting tribal and leaving everything in ruin, it's the Indians. They're known for that. And this contract that I'm about to describe, the function and basic infrastructure of it eliminated a lot of the ambassadors, the people that were first in, because always like anything, first in, you're the fucking one who wins. And so he doesn't have any of that, and he doesn't allow for any changes in its functionality, let alone the fact that anybody can go into the wallet. Nobody literally can go into the wallet and hack it, because there's another contract out there that got 86,000 ETH in it. At the time, it was worth like tens of millions of dollars. Don't think every hacker in the world didn't try to bust that one single wallet. So anyways, so this is the contract. It's a virtual deposit contract. This is how Gandhiji works, or any other virtual deposit, but the one that really matters, is essentially you have the contract, okay? You can see that circle. There's a contract there. This is the IND token, and the IND token is where you interact as individuals. So the IND token, it's got, buttload of everybody's units inside of it, right? So you got your units here, you got like your units here. So how this works is, and then there's these guys over here that got their units, and these guys over here got their units. Okay, cool, you can see that? Yeah, these guys over here got their units, so. And this fucker over here, he's a fucking rich motherfucker. He's got a lot of units over here, right? And this is you, and these guys are already interacting with the contract, right? And they're fucking, what they've done is they've done what I'm about to describe is good, what you might want to try and do. So like you got the contract, and you're gonna put 10 of your units in there, 10 Ethereum or whatever. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 Ethereum. I'm gonna put my 10 Ethereum in there. But what happens is 10% of that is set aside, and what it's done is, I wish I could split this fucking screw into a bunch of different pieces, but that 10% that I just paid to get into this contract, it's distributed amongst every one of the people holding. Every one of them. According, this guy over here with the extra fucking coins, he gets his percentage according to his representation in the contract, right? And this money's always there. And if this guy wants to bail with all of his money that he has in here, he can bail. But when he bails, he's got to pay 10% to every motherfucker that's, oh yeah, you're in the contract now. So he's got to pay every motherfucker like they paid you, right? And this thing what happens is, while this happens, the price of the token, when the buys go up, the price goes up. But when people sell, and also when the buys go up, your tokens are created. So you actually create more tokens, like I was just describing. When you put tokens in there, the total token pool goes up. And as the total token pool goes up, so does the price. But if the people start fucking freaking out and they start selling their tokens and it goes down, the token price goes down. Right? And while that happens, this one token can only be priced in Ethereum. And there's only one exchange, and that's with the contract. So there's no front running, there's no high frequency trading, there's no fucking mortgage-backed securities that are fucking, none of that shit exists. This is an all-value transfer system that's exclusively done over a fucking network on a contract that's immutable. If you can't understand any of this, or if you have any questions, please contact me. In the doobly-doo below, there's going to be a link. And in that link, you're going to fucking give me a 3%. So like if you tell a bunch of people, or if you have another wallet, and you want to buy some of these tokens with that wallet, and you can use the link and you can pay yourself, right? Right? And so ultimately, I'm not saying this is a solution to the whole world. I'm saying eventually, some other contract's going to come along and even do it better, because like the price of the token imagine what I just described. When the price of the token's like 1 cent, and right now it's $1 or less than a penny, when the price was like a fraction of a penny, and right now the price of Gandhiji tokens, each token's $1 worth of US, or $1 worth of Ethereum. Imagine that when the price goes, it's gone up to $1. I bought it when it was 80 cents. And I didn't describe, the other thing too is, as people buy and sell, that 10%, it gets distributed as dividends. So those people are getting dividends. Every time a buy happens, the price goes up and you get dividends. And every time a sell happens, the price goes down and tokens are destroyed and you get dividends. Okay, so every time there's a buy, somebody buys 10, the motherfucker comes over here, the whale comes back in and he's gonna buy 20 this time. I'm just gonna pretend that's 20. So he's paying 20. So they're fucking 10% of that 20 is getting distributed as dividends amongst everybody else, while that pie gets bigger and the price goes up. But if the pie gets smaller, the price gets lower and the price goes down. But every time there's a buy and sell, you get dividends. I don't even know how to spell, but just dividends. You get dividends, dude, every time it's a buy and sell. So this is like the ultimate Ponzi scheme that can never fucking Ponzi out on you, right? I mean, yeah, some motherfucking whale can come in, buy a bunch, wait around, faff I am, and then speak about universal basic income, how good of a person he is, and how wonderful he is, and then when the price goes up there, dump it. Look at P3D, look at the chart on that. Look what the whales did there. And I'm not saying the whales aren't going to do that in Gandhiji, but one thing's for sure, the guy behind it, the contract, it doesn't have, the contract I just spoke to, P3D, the fucking developers, find out who they are, where they're at. You'll never find those just fucking slimy. I'm going to hide behind everything I can in the world, not even use my voice to represent myself. Dude, everybody's hiding in this space. There's a good reason for it. This is the last thing I want to do. I want to fucking educate here. You wish you were me, Saint. You wish you were me. I love you guys. Talk to you on Drunk on Crypto tonight.